morning, guys. I was gonna do this live, but I'm just gonna a little loud in my ear. I'm just gonna do this as a quick video. I put quite a few out today. I had an interesting day, as you guys can see. Well, we have. Well, this is the second lawsuit. I know of 3 lawsuits now that has been filed against Norfolk Southern. When I was down at that trail by the creek, that nature trail, met this interesting lady. I thought she was just, taking a walk on a nature trail, and here's some weirdo walking around with a camera, me. But here, she's been doing the same stuff as I've been doing, out documenting all this stuff with her phone. We had a very interesting, probably almost a half an hour conversation about this all. So it's nice to see other people out there, documenting this, because the more people we have out there, the better it is, I would have to say. What was this? Oh, Republic Services, they're giving roll-off containers for residents, which, that's nice to them. It would be nice to them to know, the EPA or something doesn't know people what they need to throw away and what they could decontaminate and whatever. But kind of thing that got me on here is like, you can put explosives in there, and right underneath the explosives it says dead animals. That kind of really, I just don't really see that on a, stuff you can put in a roll-off. But hey, it's East Palestine. We're the United States Chernobyl now. So you can put your explosives and dead animals in there. What do we got here? Dead fish and chickens. Okay, so this says as of Wednesday. I'm guessing last Wednesday. They're saying an estimated of 3,500 small fish across 7.5 miles of stream. I got, footage of it. I seen somebody posted footage of it today where the guys are actually in the creek, digging the, taking the fish out with a net. I seen they posted that today. I mean, this is a basic article. I like some of this. After the controlled burn, the EPA warned area residents of possible lingering odors, but noted that the byproducts of vinyl chloride can emit smells at levels lower than what is considered hazardous. Okay, what do they consider hazardous? Is hazardous deadly? What do you consider hazardous? Because even that chemical in low levels may not cause, long-term effects, but you definitely do have short-term effects from it. Readings at points showed readings at points below safety screening levels for contaminants of concern. Again, what level? I mean, with something like that doesn't occur in an environment, I would think the level would be 0. But EPA loves you, As of Saturday evening, they've screened the indoor of 210 homes, and they haven't detected any. I don't know if I believe that or not, but they still have another 218 to do as of Sunday. This is the short term and long term. Long term is cancer, but everything gives us cancer. Our food gives us cancer now. Short term in high concentration, drowsiness, loss of coordination, disorientation, nausea, headache, burning, tingling. I went over the meeting they're having Wednesday. See, the funny thing is, They are also having down in Negley. It's a small town right outside of East Palestine. They are having a meeting for a class action, also at 7, which I kind of find odd. If I can talk, I find kind of odd because they're scheduled at the same time, so the residencies have got to decide. Am I going down there or am I going to pray? Ask my questions that probably ain't going to get answered. But that's all right. I have enough questions to ask. I can keep them busy for about an hour or so. So if I'm the only one there, that's fine. I got plenty of questions. I think that's all I wanted to cover in this article. We already talked about the wells just last night. I like this too. The Columbiana County Health District, the department began groundwater sampling last week in partnership with the state health department and the state EPA and contractors of Norfolk Southern. The results haven't come back yet. She don't know what then. She didn't know when to expect them. She added her department has received no reports of residents experience abnormal symptoms. I don't think they would admit to it anyways, but hey. They finally released the list of the train cars. And Julie on Twitter, thank you so much for finding this. You sent this to me last night after my live. Great find. Thank you. I've seen it posted a couple other places now, but when you sent it, it's the first time I've seen it. Polyethylene destroyed by fire, empty lube oil car, it was empty. Then you get the vinyl chloride, which the cars do not leak. Cars vent product through a pressure reduction device and ignited. Oh, should be vented. Okay. Vent and burn performed. So that's when they breached it and, pretty much poisoned the 200-mile radius or so. We got some the propylene glycol. We have one tanker that lost most of its load. The tank is breached. We got some kind of glycol has a small leak from the blow-off valve. Unknown amount of product in the car. Ethylene glycol is an unknown status, which is a combustible liquid. I like that. I don't know when this was put out, so this must have been put out fairly, because some of these says actively burning, and there's nothing actually burning now. So, let's see here. This acrylate car breached on head-in. Amount of product still in car pending. Polyvinyl burned, actively burning. We got oil. Let's see here. This one was breached. This one was breached. This one may have had a small leak. We'll determine when the car is offloaded. This one, they don't know how much is left in the tank. Here's some more polypropyl glycol. Lost most of its load. This one's no sign of breaching. Here's another one. Diethylene glycol. Lost its load. Here's another one that lost unknown amount at this time from damaged blow-off valve. Here's an isobutylene. I hate saying these because I butcher them, but some flames impingent, no signs of breaching. Here's another one. The butyl thing. Head breach, lost entire load, spills and fire. Petrol oil. Small leak from the VRV stopped. The car's still loaded. Fuel additives for fuel. It says no sign of breach. Polyvinyl, get 2 of them involved in a fire. Here's another vinyl chloride that, vented through the PRD like it was supposed to keep it from exploding, but they vented and burned it. This boxcar says balls. I'm taking it's cotton medical balls. I'm guessing, burning or has burned. See here, one at sheet steel burned or has burned. Frozen vegetables. I had pictures of that. Bags on the ground. That's where they came from. Burning is burned. Benzene damaged, fire impinged. This is no breach. Wax is no breach. This is flakes powder. They don't say what. It's burned, extinguished. Here's another one. Inline, upright. No, there's passenger cars, which I can tell you what happened to them. You guys know they're all burnt. All these box cars are malt liquors. I can tell you what happened to them. They all burnt. That one exploded. So they did, I don't know when they released this, but this was finally sent to me. So basically, it says car 23 and 24. It says not in derailment piles. So they must have been still on the track. So any from car 25 to 74. Them are all the cars that were involved in this horrific crap show event. I don't know how to explain it. I found this interesting too. This was posted. This actually was actually the lady I just met today. She followed me on Twitter and I followed her back. And I found this interesting. From January of 2019 to November of 22, Norfolk Southern had the most railroad accidents at 129. CSX was 106. So they're averaging about 32 accidents a year, which I found it was kind of interesting. I didn't realize there were that many because these really don't make the news. But as I've heard today, there's quite a few just today. But I'm not gonna cover all of them. I'm just gonna try to make this video quick. Press release from the Railroad Workers United. This was interesting. Let's see here. Train wreck was a result of the PSR, which stands for Precision Scheduled Railroading. It's risky, longer trains, heavier trains. The train that wrecked was 9,300 feet long, 18,000 tons. Other hallmarks of modern-day railroading include deep cuts in both maintenance and operating employees, poor customer service, deferred maintenance to rolling stock and infrastructure, long working hours, chronic fatigue, limited on-the-job training, and high employee turnover. So this train, NS32N, let's see here, had 150 cars on the manifest, 3 locomotives, 141 of the cars were loaded, they had 9 empties. Let's see here, the train had a crew of 3 at the time of the wreck, engineer, a conductor, and a conductor trainee. 20 of its loaded cars were considered hazmat by the railroad. 10 of those were involved in the 50-car pileup. Of those 10, 5 contained vinyl chloride, all which were damaged and or burned, with one of those leaking by design to relieve explosive pressure. Let's see here. The wreck appears to be a 19th century style mechanical failure of the axle in one of the cars, an overheated bearing leading to the derailment, then jackknifing tumbling cars. On this train, 40% of its weight was in the rear third of the train. I mentioned that last night, how they load them, how they're going to be delivered, not by, not the safe way. They do it the easy way. Which has always been a bad practice. It made more dangerous as longer, heavier trains. This fact almost certainly made the wreck dynamically worse by increasing the PSR-driven carriers, driven to cut costs and crew by any means necessary, cut corners, leave crews and the public at risk. Let's see here. The crew was able to uncouple the locomotives, moving them to safety, preventing any bigger tragedy. This would not have been possible under various management schemes now being proposed to operate such trains with a single-person crew. Because the train 32N carried a standard crew of 2 or more workers, they were able to immediately take the necessary emergency measure to ensure a safe and effective response. The short-term profit imperative, the so-called cult of the operating ratio of Norfolk Southern and other Class 1 railroads has made cutting costs, employees, procedures, and resources a top priority. In this case, NS and other carriers have eliminated many of the critical mechanical positions in locations necessary to guarantee protection against these kinds of failures. They regularly petition the regulators at the Federal Railroad Administration for relief from a historical required maintenance and inspection. The wreck of train 32N has been in the years of making. What other such train wrecks await us remains to be seen. But given the mode of the Class 1 rail carriers, we can no doubt expect further disasters of this nature. So that was released on the 7th, which was a while ago, but pretty interesting. So, good, just nice and quick. I didn't want to make this one too long, then people don't watch it. So I just wanted to cover a few things, just to get them out there. Other than that, we'll see what tomorrow brings. They're doing their best to not let people film, but their best isn't good enough, not yet. I still will find ways. Don't worry. You guys can't hide. You guys will have to put a freaking 20-foot, non-see-through fence up if you don't want me to get footage of what you're doing. And even then, I might run a helicopter. You never know. An airplane. All right, guys. I just want to make this short and quick. And tomorrow's only Tuesday. Okay, it's Wednesday. So that lady that I met today, we're gonna have somebody down at that class action meeting. I guess it's gonna be recorded. And I'm going to be at the town hall thing. So when I get home, I don't think it's going to be live streamed because Negley's kind of in a valley, and cell phone footage down there is really shitty. Same thing as I was at that nature trail today. Cell phone footage is hit and miss down there because you're down in this real deep valley, which would explain why it stinks too, because they're aerating all this water to get this chemical out, and this chemical is heavier than air, and it's going to go to the lowest part of, the area. I was just thinking about that. Well, it explains why it stinks down there, because that's the lowest part, around. So, it's all going to condense in that little valley right there. I was just thinking about it after I said, it smells down here a little bit, and that's probably why. So, when I get home, I will, if it's not, well, I still will post the video, just so you guys know what's going on. And then I'll be at the other one, which may be interesting. I don't know. Like I said, I got enough questions to keep them busy for about an hour, maybe more. Hope the EPA's there and stuff. I really have questions. Other than that, guys, I'm going to say good night. and I guess we continued the fight. Not giving up. And from what I've heard today, there's a lot of other people not giving up too, and I'm glad to hear that. I am very glad to hear that. So, I mean, people will never get the justice, they deserve here because, you know, they may get money, but when you die, you can't take your money with you. It's sad, but at least the company will have to pay, even though it's pocket change to them. I don't know. Class action sounds nice, but it's pocket change to them. They can afford to, lose that money. They'll recoup it. $55 billion is what they made last year, and that's nothing. Their little pocket change is nothing. So, but I guess it brings to the fact that people ain't going to stand down and let themselves be used and told that we're going to blow these rail cars up because they're going to explode. We're doing it for your safety. When, all in fact, which, I see I'm not the only one that shares this opinion now. I've been watching other videos on this. I think it was the quickest and the cheapest way to dispose of that chemical to get that railroad back open again. If they would have had to empty them cars physically, recover all that liquid, which they would have to recover under pressure because as soon as it hits air, it's not like you can put a hose in there and suck it out. As soon as the air hits it, it turns to a gas. So I think that was the cheapest and quickest to get rid of that stuff. Let's make it sound like it's going to blow up. Well, if the pressure relief valve is working like it's supposed to, and I've been reading up on them, and them valves are pretty durable. They're built that way, and at least one of these cars has been venting since the accident happened. It just makes you more, unless something really happened to the pressure relief valve. Them cars can withstand like 900 psi's, I think, give or take. Depends on which car, but I was reading about that. And then blow-off valves can be set as high as 275 psi's or as low as 75 psi's. So as long as that valve is working, that car is not going to explode. It's just going to continue to vent. So I don't believe there was a risk of an explosion until they put proof forward that that was the best practice. I don't believe it, and now I'm starting to see other people don't believe it, and I'm glad. I thought I was the only one. I thought I was the only crazy one. I guess I ain't the only crazy one in the world. It was the quickest and cheapest way to open a railroad. Even the EPA released that paper, and they believe them to have covered that ditch that they dug. These cars were so dangerous that you couldn't go by them. But we have guys down there digging trenches for this chemical to go into. There's that one video I showed of guys walking around down there without no air protection, no masks. They're walking by cars. I don't believe there was a risk of an explosion. It was all to open that railroad. And the EPA is saying that they are suspected of covering that trench up they used to burn this stuff off, plus other puddles of who knows what. They just bulldozed it all over and laid the new rails on top of it. Which I totally believe from being down there and seeing, what it looks like down there. I believe it. They just threw new gravel on top. Hey, it looks good. They'll never know. So it just goes to show you that the only people that has you have to worry about with your health is yourself, because nobody else cares. It's all about money, greed. Sick how dangerous it will turn people. So I'm hoping that it was a Norfolk Southern in their experts' decision, that none of like the EPA and stuff was involved in it. I don't know. It would be kind of sad, but I expect it. They're crooked. There's probably people that work for that company that actually care about their job, but the company as a whole is crooked. They're going to take the nice little check that you didn't see this happen. Here you go, and okay, it's safe. So I will keep you guys updated. I didn't do my thing today because, as you heard from my first video, it was very windy today. It was like 30-mile-an-hour gusts. It was wicked. I don't think it's supposed to be windy tomorrow, so I think tomorrow is going to be. I decided to name it the Stand Up, Speak Up. I don't want to say protest. It's a public service announcement. The Stand Up, Speak Up public service announcement is what I'm calling it. That's going to take place tomorrow because the next day is supposed to be windy, and then we got rain coming in, which is going to make this situation, way worse because you're going to have more runoff. So look for that tomorrow. Like I said, probably around 3, 4, because I'm gonna do a busy part of the day. We'll see how that goes. We'll do that the day before the meeting, and we'll see if anybody wants to talk or stop and voice their opinion. I don't know. Probably will. Other than that, all right, guys. Good night. I will see you guys tomorrow.